wanted to start with you first. This is your feature-length debut as a writer and a director. Congratulations, by the way. What initially inspired this screenplay, and did anything surprise you about this process of putting it together?
Oh, well, I dreamt up the story over time, and I just built out my characters during COVID. And I was very bored during the isolation, so the characters sort of became my best friends in a way.
Mm,
But the whole process was exciting, but also just an experience I'm very grateful for, having so many wearing so many hats in this process. I learned a lot, and I never in my wildest dreams thought we'd end up in theaters when I started this story. And it's been exciting and challenging. We had to overcome a lot of adversity getting through to the end, and we did. And I love my cast, and my crew was wonderful, and it was all good. Yeah.
yeah. It's one of my favorite holiday films of the year. And Emily, you're so fantastic in this role. And I love all the dramatic work that you've done throughout your career, but you have such a knack for comedy and have such incredible comedic timing. There's a scene really early on where Brooke reaches her breaking point and speaks out for the entire office. And that back and forth between you and Kelly is hilarious. How much of that was improvised versus scripted? And how fun is it for you as an actor to get to play in all these different spaces and genres?
It was definitely such a blast to be able to do this because I feel like it's very different than most of the things I've done in my career. Because usually I do a lot of drama, and coming from a show that was so dramatic and so intense, it was like amazing to be in such a beautiful space. When it comes to the monologue, it was Stephanie's wonderful work. I mean, her writing was incredible and it made everything so much easier for me. But at the same time, it was so good to be able to play off of Kelly because it's like we kept coming at each other, and it was like a little bit of improv in the sense of like how we were delivering the lines and certain things we were saying towards the
Mm,
end. And it was just amazing to have her to play like kind of opposite, because sometimes when the camera is not on an actor, sometimes they don't really give you as much as when the camera's on them. And one thing about Kelly is that she was the same all throughout, which
mm.
helped me deliver my monologue in such a better way because she was always so present with me. So yeah, it was really fun.
I love the little snarky looks that you give each other. And Stephanie, what you've done so brilliantly with this screenplay is it strikes the perfect balance between comedy and these really heartfelt moments. As a writer director, how do you create the space and trust with your cast to delve into those vulnerable scenes? Is there a different shorthand having had experience in front of the camera yourself?
I feel like being an actor, it's the most vulnerable position you can be in on set, because everyone is can be so critical, and everyone is watching you. You're trying to perform, and if you make a mistake, you're doing it in front of everyone. But in my opinion, there's really no mistakes when you're in front of the camera. You're just being real, you're being human, because everyone makes mistakes. So,
Mm.
giving the actors space to bring their own vision to the character is really important, because I want the characters to be very authentic and real, and allow the actor to bring themselves into the scripted words. So just giving the actors their space and encouraging their own emotions to come through is what matters to me as a
So,
director.
yeah, so many incredible performances across the board. And Emily, I think Brooke plays such an important role in showing audiences that Connie wasn't always like this. And the office used to be this place where they enjoyed going to. And even at one point calls Connie a mentor in her life. Who were the people in your own life who've shaped the storyteller that you are today?
I would say, wow, that's such a great question. I don't really get that a lot. I would say that throughout my career, I've stumbled upon a lot of like very, very wonderful people that I've taken a lot of messagings from. But I do think that a very kind of like shape-shifting moment for me was when I was much younger. I remember being a little girl and watching America Ferrera on TV playing Ugly Betty, and seeing a woman that sounded like me, looked like me, and felt
Mm,
like me on TV. That was a really pivotal moment for me because it was like, okay, I can do this, I can go to the States and I can do this too. And it's like, I think for me in my career, that was like the first entering point of like looking up to somebody and being like, oh my gosh, look at the type of role she's playing. It's also an office job. It's also like a very badass, like stepping into her voice woman. And it was funny because I kind of, when preparing for Brooke, I kind of went back to that moment of being like, I remember seeing America Ferrera step into this role and step into her voice. And I took a lot of that to bring into Brooke as well, because even for me as a little girl, that was such a pivotal moment. And yeah, I think also working with somebody like Steph was really empowering, because all throughout this movie, you guys, there were so many challenges.
Mm,
And I'm sure even more than I saw myself. And the way that she carried herself all throughout, and the way that she led everybody, and the way that she was so empowered throughout everything and was just facing challenges in the way that she did, that was like, it really starts at the top, because then it was like a trickle down effect of everybody stepping into the plate because of the way that she was leading all of us. So I think that was really empowering too. Thank
beautiful
you.
answer. And you're paving the way now for future generations, Emily. And Stephanie, music is such a staple of a good holiday film. And you have such a diverse and multifaceted cast at the helm of this project. And you're opening so many doors for them to show off different sides of their talent. Was that something that you were mindful of during the casting process?
Absolutely. I love music, and that's one of my favorite things about a movie. The cinematography and the music, it enhances everything that's happening on screen with the performances. And I kept pushing for music, and I didn't have a big budget, so I actually had to find creative ways to bring music into the film with the low budget that we were on. So we created a lot of original music, and everyone just pulled together and helped out with this. And we we just did it. We just did it. And it worked out.
Yeah. And I got you one and a well-deserved award during the festival circuit. And Emily, you've touched upon this already, but you've worked on projects of all sizes. What is it about independent filmmaking that excites you as a creative and a storyteller?
I think it excites me because it usually tends to be like a really beautiful story of how it happens. I think you usually have either a really strong woman behind it, like trying to make everything happen like Steph, or you have somebody that has had this idea for years and like finally they're putting it together, or you have somebody that wasn't given the chance or opportunity to come to a studio or to come to a network with this. And I just feel like those projects are so meaningful and they're so heartfelt. And it's like, if I'm attracted to a script or if I'm attracted to a character, then I want to be a part of it. I want to bring awareness to the film. I want to be able to hop on board and help something or help an idea become bigger or become better. And I think that that's what's beautiful about independent filmmaking. There's like all these rules that totally go out the window, and I love that as an artist and as a creative. So yeah, I think that's some of the most beautiful things.